They are the calmest people you'll ever meet, not because their lives are easy, but because they've accepted something most people run from their entire lives. They think about death every single day, and strangely enough, it brings them peace. Deep, lasting, unshakable peace. Let me show you why. The fear we don't talk about. Most people live as if life will go on forever. We chase achievements, cling to relationships, accumulate things, all while pretending the clock isn't ticking. But beneath the surface, there's always a quiet fear. The fear of loss, the fear of the unknown, the fear of death. We avoid it, distract ourselves, we scroll, we consume, we plan for next year. Yet we forget that every breath brings us one moment closer to the end. Buddha once said, "Of all footprints, that of the elephant is supreme. Of all meditations, the meditation on death is supreme." It's called Maranasati, death awareness, and those who practice it don't become darker or depressed. They become free. What is Maranasati? Maranasati isn't about obsession or fear. It's not about imagining your funeral every day. It's about remembering what is true, that this life, as beautiful and sacred as it is, will not last forever. That every moment is borrowed, every breath is a gift. In Buddhist practice, monks often reflect daily on lines like, "This could be my last breath. This body is not mine. Death will come, suddenly, inevitably, and I do not know when." This isn't said with sadness. It's said with presence. It wakes you up to what matters, to what is real. Why thinking of death brings peace. Let's pause for a moment and ask, why would anyone think about death on purpose? Isn't that morbid? Number. Because when you truly face death, you stop fearing it. And when you're not afraid to die, you're finally ready to live. You let go of what doesn't matter. You forgive faster. You hold on to fewer grudges. You stop chasing shallow things. You become present, grounded, peaceful. You realize that argument, it's not worth it. That car, you can't take it with you. That moment with your child, it will never return. Be there for it. Thinking of death doesn't make you gloomy, it makes you grateful. A monk's morning ritual. In many Theravada monasteries, the morning chant includes this reflection. I am subject to aging. I am not beyond aging. I am subject to illness. I am subject to death. All that is mine, beloved and pleasing, will become otherwise. These words are repeated like a mantra, not to depress, but to liberate. Because once you stop clinging, you start seeing clearly. Impermanence is the door to freedom. Everything changes. Everything passes. In Buddhist philosophy, this is called anicca, impermanence. People change. Bodies age. Flowers bloom, then wither. Relationships begin, and eventually end. And yet, we suffer because we try to hold on to what cannot be held. The Buddha taught that clinging to impermanent things is the root of all suffering. So, when peaceful people think of death, they are not being pessimistic. They are aligning themselves with reality. And in that alignment, there is a strange and profound freedom. Stories from the Buddha's time. There's a famous story about a grieving mother named Kisa Gotami. Her child had died and she was inconsolable. She begged the Buddha to bring him back. The Buddha told her, "Go to every home in the village. Bring me a mustard seed from a household that has never experienced death." She went, house to house. But every home had lost someone. A parent, a child, a friend. She returned empty-handed, and she understood. Death was not punishment. It was simply the nature of life. From that moment, she began to heal. Peace through perspective. Let's try a little reflection together. Pause what you're doing. Close your eyes for a second. Now ask yourself, if today were my last day, what would really matter? Who would I forgive? Who would I want to hold or say sorry to? Would that thing I'm stressed about still matter? The peaceful people of this world don't live in denial. They live awake. They know that death is not a tragedy. Wasting life is. Letting go of attachment. Thinking about death also helps us loosen the grip of attachment. We attach ourselves to people, outcomes, titles, plans, and even identities. But what if we approached life like a traveler, grateful for every stop, but never mistaking the journey for the destination? The more we let go, the lighter we become. The people who walk through this life with peace in their heart are not the ones who have everything. They are the ones who are ready to lose everything and still smile. A mirror to our priorities. When you contemplate death, you begin to edit your life. Suddenly, you say no to drama. You choose silence over noise. You stop trying to impress people who don't even know your soul. You prioritize depth over speed, meaning over money, because time becomes precious, and peace, it becomes your highest currency. Death is a teacher. We don't need to wait until we are old to think about death. In fact, the younger you start, the more peace you bring into your life. Death teaches us presence. It teaches us to value time, love, and breath. Every morning we are born again. What we do today is what matters most. The Buddha. So the question isn't why think about death? The question is, how can you truly live if you don't? Monks in the cemetery. In ancient Buddhist practice, monks would meditate in cemeteries. They would sit beside decaying bodies, not out of morbidity, but as a way to understand impermanence deeply. They would reflect, this too is my body's fate. It is not exempt. That kind of clarity changes you. You stop seeing life as something to control and start seeing it as something to experience, moment by moment. That is peace. Turning fear into freedom. Most people fear death, but in Buddhism we say, it is not death that is to be feared, but the fear of death. Once you accept it, there's nothing left to hold you back. You speak your truth, you love deeply, you savor your tea. You watch the sunset as if it might be your last, and maybe, just maybe, you start to live the way you were always meant to. A gentle reminder. As this video comes to an end, I want you to carry one small thought with you. This life is short, but it can be beautiful if you live it with your eyes open. So remember, you don't need to fear death. You don't need to chase happiness. You just need to be present, and the more you think about death, the more alive you become.